Well, hey now, it transferred. I thought it was gonna be too slow today. As you can see, when I did this technique, you have to move quickly. If you move too slowly, it's just gonna end up, being a dry stamp. Yay, lovely. So instead of having the lines there, I got rid of that. Hey everyone, it is Devon from the Maniology team. Today's topic is how to edit and isolate your stamp. So we're going to be covering 4 different ways that you can edit or isolate your stamp. When we say edit or isolate, it means images that are not attached to the design. Let me show you a good example of an image. Okay, for example, this. If you wanted to take this pumpkin away and just have these other pumpkins, that would be really hard. It wouldn't work for editing or isolating because it's not clearly separated from the other designs. So when you're trying to edit or isolate, you want to look for designs that there's some space. That way you have some wiggle room to take things out. If it's touching other lines like this, it's going to be very, very difficult to isolate. So for example, if I liked this design, but I just didn't like this, this little moon here, it would be easy to remove it because it's not touching anything else. So I hope that kind of clarifies. Okay, now let's get to the fun parts. You are going to need your tools with you today. Again, any stamping plates or stamping polishes that you want to use, a lint roller, or if you don't have a lint roller and you have our sticky stamping station, this is mine. I didn't fully use the sheet because I wanted to show you guys, but I'm using an old sheet. So instead of your sheets, once they get filled and you can't use it anymore to like properly clean off your stamper, don't throw it away because you can actually reuse these sheets to help isolate or edit your stamp. So something like this is good. Scotch tape works well also if you have that. Or you can use a toothpick if you have that. I am using one of our sample tools, but we sell this marbling tool on our website as well. So if you guys are looking for one, this works beautifully for marbling, but it also works well for editing a stamp. And then the last thing you're gonna need is your scraper card. But if you're stamping, you should have one already. And if you don't have a scraper card, a credit card works just as well too. So my polish bases are dry. Again, you don't have to use the colors that I am selecting. And we are going to isolate this little tooth. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So for such a small space like this, I'm probably going to want to use my scraper card just because it's a little bit easier and faster. So you're going to notice that when I do this, you're going to need to move quickly. Also, notice how I did not put polish all over the entire design because I only want that tooth. So I'm just going around and taking off the junk bits. If you can move fast enough, I don't think I'll be able to. Let me try. I think I already, oh shoot. Well, hey now, it transferred. I thought it was gonna be too slow today. As you can see, when I did this technique, you have to move quickly. If you want to not have to use like a sticky something to adhere it, if you move too slowly, it's not going to transfer onto the base. It's just going to end up, being a dry stamp. So at that point, you're going to need to use like sticky base coat or some kind of nail foil glue or something. Even wet regular polish can help transfer that. But you're going to need something to help you transfer if it dries and you take too long. So make sure you have a backup for that as well. So this is how to isolate stamp technique number 1, using your scraper card. This is probably the easiest. You won't need any additional tools. Since you're already stamping, you'll already have your scraper card. So that's one technique. Let's do the second one. Just gonna put that there. So another way you can isolate your design. I'm gonna choose, I think I'm gonna show you guys this design, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like after I edit it. So for this technique, I'm going to be using my marbling tool. Again, you can use a toothpick if you have it. Okay, so quickly using your tool, your pointed edge, you can just go ahead and clean up the center. Not sure why someone would want to do this, but if you wanted to, I'm showing you how to do that. So again, it was easy for me to isolate or remove and edit designs because the polish was still wet. If you run into a situation where your polish is not wet anymore and you can't just pick it up quickly, like how I am, oh, whoops, there we go. You can always use clear polish and just add the tiniest, when I say the tiniest amount, I'm just gonna do something like this. Very, very little on the tip of my tool. And then once it kind of gets dry and tacky again, you can go ahead and, there we go, take things off. So this is another technique. Again, you may not want to do this, but if there's something small about designs that you don't like, you can go ahead and make those changes. And then you would just stamp on your design. So because my design now is too dry, because, you know, as you saw, that took a second or several seconds for me to be able to remove all the little central parts from the flowers. So in that kind of case, you're gonna use a sticky base coat, or you can use nail foil glue. You can even use a clear top coat if you want to adhere your design, whoops, directly on. So we're just gonna give this about 30 seconds to a minute to dry. Also, I highly recommend that when you're doing this, keep your AC off and your fans off, because it's gonna speed up your dry time, which means you won't have as much time to edit your stamp. Then while that's drying, I'm just gonna set this aside, grab another plate. Now we're gonna show you how to isolate your stamp again using this plate and this design. And we're gonna also use Scotch tape. So again, if you don't have the same tools I have, that's okay. There are a bunch of household goods that you could use for this. I'm just gonna put my Scotch tape on the side and grab my scraper. So now using your Scotch tape, you can just go ahead and take that away. We're just going to take these lines away. There you go. So you can see this technique has a lot of really cool application for it. You can do all kinds of fun things. Before we transfer that, I'm gonna transfer. Yep, perfect timing. There we go. Let me show you guys. So for those of you who are just joining us and wondering what was the difference, the original design had all these little pieces in the center of the flower. I just showed you guys how to remove those center pieces in case you wanted to. So that's design number 2. And this is design number 3. So we removed these lines with Scotch tape. And then you could just go ahead and transfer that. Because I waited too long, I'm going to use my sticky base again, because this is such a lifesaver. I'm just going to put that down, let that dry a bit. So I'm going to put this on the side, give my sticky base 30 seconds to a minute to dry, and I'm going to work on the last and final technique of how to isolate and edit your stamp using used sheet from my sticky stamper station. Again, you can use your lint roller if you don't have it. And for this technique, I like to fold the sticky stamper sheet so that way I can get a nice pointed edge. Actually, I'm just going to fold it one more time. So, did I fold it the right way? Yeah. So I just fold it so that way I can have a nice pointed edge to make it really easy for me to isolate. I think someone had asked how sharp and pointed is that marbling tool. Seems a little dangerous with stampers. It is sharp, and when I'm doing that, I'm not pushing very hard. Again, you can see, like, you don't really even need to push that hard. Like, it's pretty light. And I'm not going like this into it. It's usually at an angle, so it's mainly more the side of the tool instead of the direct head-on point, so that way I can just kind of quickly pick things up. Let's take a look at our sticky base. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my flower. Yay, lovely. So instead of having the lines there, I got rid of that. So that is design number 3. Then let me show you the very last one. So we are going to be using, I think I want to do, I'm gonna do this Ouija plate design. And I'm gonna remove some pieces from here. So I'm gonna show you how to edit one more time using your lint roller sheet or your sticky stamper sheet. And again, I like to use a used sticky stamper sheet. I don't want to use a sticky stamper sheet that has a lot of space for me to still clean, just because with this technique I end up folding up the sticky stamper sheet and it just seems like a waste if I don't fully use it all. And that's also another way for you to get more use out of your sticky stamper station. Okay, so I want to remove, I think it's called a monocle or oracle, sorry, oracle. I'm going to remove this as well. Maybe remove that, but as you can see, I'm just going around changing the design. Why would you want to do these things? You may not want to do that for this particular design, but I'm just showing you ways that you could utilize this technique. Then, so now there are some gaps in the design. If you wanted, I could go back and take, let's see, I want these bats, for example, in the design. Now I could go back and fill that area with a bat, if I wanted to, or if you wanted to. There you go. So you could fill these empty spots with whatever you want now. You can adjust the design and edit it to make it something that you like. And that's the cool thing about editing and isolating your stamp. Also, if you guys are wondering, I am using a marbling tool We do sell this on the site. It is a different color. I believe it's white with clear crystals. My tool is one of our very first original samples, so it's different color, but still works exactly the same. So I hope everyone has an amazing week, and if you try any of our techniques or watch any of our lives and recreate any of the designs, please make sure you mention us and hashtag us. We love seeing your creations, and I hope everyone has an amazing week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!